Welcome to the Ligier Junior Formula Championship, as it's the New Jersey Lottery weekend at New Jersey Motorsports Park. My name's John Phippen, so great to have you with us as we're getting ready to grid our first race of the weekend for the Ligier Junior Formula Championship. This season we have two classes of cars, the original Gen 1 cars at the front of the field. These are the cars that served in the US F4 Championship until 2 years ago when we introduced the second generation car. And this year, for the first time, we're making the second generation cars available to the Ligier Junior Formula Championship, and they run as a separate class. The Gen 2 cars have about 50% more aerodynamic efficiency than their first generation counterparts, so we pegged them back just a little bit with a special engine control unit for the cars that run in this combined class, which pegs back the horsepower just a bit to keep them a little more competitive with their Gen 1 counterparts. But nonetheless, they are faster, so by tradition, we start the Gen 2 cars at the back of the field so they can work their way forward. And at most of the races so far this season, both the Gen 2 cars have been able to find their way to the front by the end of the race. The two Gen 2 drivers, as we mentioned, at the back. The 07 is Jack Speth. Jack is a 14-year-old out of Tucson, Arizona for Kiwi Motorsport. Alongside is the other Gen 2 driver, the number 30 of Edward Kennedy. Edward, a 14-year-old out of Mont-Tremblant, Quebec. He's sponsored by Cool Performance Simulators. He races for the MLT Motorsports team. First of the Gen 1 drivers is the number 52 of Ella White. Ella, an 18-year-old out of Aspen, Colorado. She runs for Berg Racing. Outside of row 3 is car number 9, Tyler Wade, a 22-year-old out of Alameda, California, sponsored by Dante's Inferno and Pearlson Accountants. He also races for Berg Racing. Alongside him in that third row, the number 33 of Alexander Savage, a 14-year-old out of St. Petersburg, Florida, sponsored by Kaima Boats, Triple Aim Medical Solutions, and Nature Coast Healthcare for G-Tech Motorsports. In row 2 on the outside, the number 26 of Ava Hansen. Ava, a 16-year-old out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. She's sponsored by NGK, Chiropractic Center of Elkhorn, Badger Mats, and One Power Sports for Ava Hansen Racing. Alongside her is the number 21 of AJ Abdullah. AJ, a 17-year-old out of Los Angeles, California. He's sponsored by Freedom Detox and Grid Start Digital, also for Berg Racing. On the front row on the outside, the number 11 of Lázaro Bainotti out of Malagueño, Argentina. He's a 15-year-old. He's sponsored by the Fangio Foundation and Rus Seguros for the Speed Factory. And the pole sitter is car number 7, Beckham Jasir out of Miami, Florida. Beckham, of 18-year-old, sponsored by Stonica, Bell, OMP, and P1Docs.com for Champagne Racing. As the drivers await the light sequence, it has begun. The engine's on the rev limiter. As we ride with Ava Hansen, the lights go out and Ava gets a dynamite start as she goes around Lázaro Bainotti and gives a chase now to Beckham Jasir as they make the run down toward turn number 1. Jasir bends it into the turn. Ava's going to slot into second spot. We ride with Lázaro Bainotti in the third position, and he's got company on the inside as AJ Abdullah able to get by Lázaro. And here comes Alexander Savage as well. So Bainotti from the front row all the way back to 5th position. So he's got his work cut out for him. We ride with Ella White in the number 52 Berg Racing machine as she exits the chicane, coming up into Stack Auto Lifts, turn number 5, as our leaders bend it in. And here comes Edward Kennedy already beginning to make his move forward from starting at the back in the Gen 2 car as he gets by Ella White. Lázaro Bainotti able to get back by Alexander Savage at the exit of turn 6 as he bends it into the Garage Living turn 7. There's AJ Abdullah running in the third spot. Ava Hansen and Beckham Jasir just in front of him as they bend it into turn number 10, the slowest turn on the racetrack, and then into the Ticers Live chicane, which leads them under the bridge and back onto the front straightaway. We ride with Edward Kennedy as he is chasing Bainotti just in front of him. As Kennedy again gets a good run on the front straightaway. He's able to draft by Lázaro Bainotti and take himself up into 4th position. As the drivers making their way through turn number 1 up into turn 2. We've seen a number of cars go wide here at turn 2. It's been a very tricky part of this racetrack As we ride with AJ Abdullah, Ava Hansen just up in front of him in this battle for second place as they come out of the Shoplink chicane and into the Cube 3 architecture turn 4, and then a hard braking zone down into the Stack Auto Lifts turn 5. As you can see, Edward Kennedy working his way around AJ Abdullah, or trying to, not able to get the pass done on the exit of turn 5, but into next gen turn 6. He's able to swing into third spot now as Kennedy continues his charge toward the front in that Gen 2 leading number 30. There's Ligier, then Ava Hansen, then the Gen 2 leader, Edward Kennedy, then the 21 of AJ Abdullah, Lazzaro Bainotti, right behind him as they work their way through turn 10. Just behind Bainotti is the other Gen 2 driver, the 07 of Jack Speth, Alexander Savage just behind him. As we ride with Bainotti, as he tries to make the move on AJ Abdullah to move up to third spot in Gen 1, but at the same time, the 30 of Edward Kennedy going around Ava Hansen to move up to second overall, and the other Gen 2 car, the 07 of Jack Speth, gets around Bainotti, who in turn has made that pass on AJ Abdullah, with whom we ride. So the Gen 2 cars continuing to charge their way forward as we ride with the fourth place runner in Gen 1, AJ Abdullah. As they head down into turn number 5, there's Beckham Ligier, the overall leader, and in Gen 1, then Edward Kennedy, then Ava Hansen, second in Gen 1, then Jack Speth, second in Gen 2, then Bainotti, and then this driver, AJ Abdullah, as he bends it into next gen turn 6, and a short straightaway into Garage Living turn 7. You can see the luxury condos off to the outside of that turn, and he goes a little bit too wide, does AJ, and spins it off into the grass. Fortunately, he doesn't kill the motor and is able to get right back on underway, but he will drop to the back of the field. Meanwhile, at the front are two class leaders battling for the overall lead. We ride with Edward Kennedy, the Gen 2 leader, as he is closing quickly on Beckham Ligier. Beckham's not going to make it hard for him. He knows that the Gen 2 car is a little quicker, so he'll let him go. He's racing for his own win in the Gen 1 class. So our Gen 2 leader, Edward Kennedy, has worked his way to the front of the field, but we ride with the Gen 1 leader as he bends it into the Shoplink chicane at turn number 3. There's Jack Speth and Ava Hansen. We ride with Ava as she's running second in Gen 1, chasing the second place runner in the Gen 2 class. Just a little wiggle from Edward Kennedy, Ligier right behind him, then Speth, then Ava Hansen, as they work their way out of turn 5. Heading up toward next gen turn 6. Into turn 7 with the condos off to the left. Ava keeping pace with the Gen 2 car as this right-hander turns 7, 8, and 9, a decreasing radius that feeds into the sharp change over to the left-hander for turn 10, the slowest turn on the racetrack, and then through the Ticers Live chicane under the bridge and back onto the front straightaway. Bainotti running third amongst the Gen 1 cars. The field approaching Mission Foods, turn number 1. There's Kennedy, there's Ligier, the Gen 1 leader, then the second place Gen 2 car of Speth. Ava Hansen in the blue car, running second in Gen 1 as they enter the chicane. Beckham Ligier, the sandwich in between the two Gen 2 runners. Ava Hansen with Bainotti, the Argentinian, chasing her for that second spot in the Gen 1 class. And a little gap back to Alexander Savage as they work their way through turn number 5. We ride with Bainotti, the third place runner in the Gen 1 class, smoothly through turn 6 and into Garage Living turn 7. You can see this turn pretty high speed until this point where it begins to tighten. Turns 8 and 9, slowing the cars down. And then a quick flick back to the left through turn 10. Takes them into this little chicane. Good battle here for second spot in Gen 1. Bianotti getting a good run onto the straightaway. He's going to try to square that turn off and see if he gets a little better run. As he's got his wing alongside Ava, but she's going to try to hang on to that spot. But whoa, Bianotti much later on the brakes. Man, look at that car wiggle. Ava does a good job of avoiding collecting it. As Bianotti really sent it in there, but good car control for him, and he's able to take over that second spot. Ava takes it through the shop link chicane and gives chase to see if she can take that position back. Edward Kennedy out in front of Beckham Jasir with Jack Speth there in third. Then Bianotti, the new second place runner in Gen 1. Ava Hansen back to third in class. A little gap back to Alexander Savage, running just behind her. And there's AJ Abdullah in recovery mode. Remember, he had that spin over by the condos at the exit of turn 7 and is chasing to get back into contention here. He's got some ground to make up, but I think he's got Ella White there in front of him, so he's going to make up some ground here in the second half of this race. Ava Hansen losing touch just a bit with Lazzaro Bianotti as he's able to stretch the advantage now, solidly down into second spot amongst the Gen 1 drivers. Then Ava, then Alexander Savage as we ride with Ava. She gets good run through turn 1, closing up just a bit on Bianotti. Right out to the edge of the track there at the exit of turn 2. Nice job clipping the apexes through this chicane. And back out onto the racetrack at the exit of that chicane. This high-speed turn 4, the Cube 3 architecture turn 4, and then heavy braking down into the acute left-hander at the Stack Auto Lifts turn 5. Next gen turn 6, we go forward to Lazzaro Bianotti as he smoothly works his way through turns 6, 7, and 8, now into turn 9, and then quickly back to the left at turn 10. Chasing the car just a little bit of aero wiggle there. Meanwhile, the Gen 1 leader, Beckham Jasir, keeping a close eye on his mirrors as he knows he's got Jack Speth behind him, who will try to move up and join his Gen 2 counterpart at the front of the field. But at the moment, Jasir holding his own. Speth right behind him in that battle for second overall, but it is not for second in class, as Jasir still the leader in the Gen 1 class. Then a gap back to Bianotti, the second place runner, Ava Hansen in third, Alexander Savage in fourth. And AJ Abdullah has caught the number 9 of Tyler Wade, trying to move himself up one more spot. AJ again recovering from that spin. Wade, his teammate on the Berg Racing roster, as they work their way through the shop link chicane, back out onto the short straightaway, heading up toward turn 4. AJ is going to try to stuff it in there at the Cube 3 architecture turn 4. Ooh, that's close, but they're able to get it done. So AJ moves up one more spot. And now he's got his sights set on the field in front of him. Alexander Savage will be his next target. AJ exiting turn 6, coming into 7. That was the scene of his spin as he just carried a little too much speed on the exit of that turn on lap 2. Edward Kennedy getting away at the front. Now here comes Jack Speth, making the move on the Gen 1 leader, and does so cleanly on the front straightaway. So the two Gen 2 cars have made their way from the back to the front now, as they are running in front of this driver we ride with, the Gen 1 leader, Beckham Jasir. Jasir having a dynamite season so far, coming into this weekend with a comfortable points lead and looking to extend it with another victory here in round 10 at New Jersey Motorsports Park. The battle for second is heated up just a little bit as Ava Hansen is closing right back up on Lazzaro Bianotti, and Alexander Savage not that far back. Bainote looked like he was going to be able to sprint away from Ava, but she has picked up the pace and closed right back on his gearbox. As the battle for second in Gen 1 is not over yet. A slow turn number 10. Ava gets right back on the gearbox of the Argentinian as they work their way out of 10 and through the Tyser's Live chicane. Alexander Savage not that far back as onto the front straightaway they come in this battle for second in the Gen 1 class. Bainote keeping an eye on his mirrors as Ava has a little peek as they work it into Mission Foods turn 1. She stays right on his tail as they work their way out of turn 2 and into the Shoplink chicane. Ava takes a quick glance into her mirrors, make sure Alexander Savage isn't trying to come up on her inside there. But eyes forward as she's got her hands full with Lazzaro Bainote. Bainote in the Speed Factory number 11. Heads down into Garage Living turn 7. Just a continuous right-hander that gets tighter and tighter through 8 and then 9. And once again, back through the slow speed turn 10. Beckham Jasir staying right on the tail of the 07 of Jack Speth, the second place Gen 2 runner. But this battle for second in Gen 1 is one of the best on the racetrack. Ava having a look as they come down into turn 1. She's not quite close enough to try an outbraking maneuver, but she is right on the gearbox, carrying great corner speed through turns 1 and 2. Both of them using up the rumble strips there on the outside before bending it into the chicane at turn 9. Virtually identical lap times the last couple of laps for these two cars as they're duking it out for that second spot. Bending it through turn 4, and Alexander Savage, as these two have been battling, has caught up right to the back of Ava Hansen. And so it's a 3-car battle now for second in Gen 1. Beckham Jasir, the Gen 1 leader, spotting himself to a comfortable lead up in front. But this great 3-car battle for second spot continues to rage as they work their way into turn 10 once again as we ride with Ava Hansen. What was that? Change in the engine note on Ava Hansen's car, and she's off the pace. Here comes Alexander Savage getting by. Ava slowing here. And you can hear that engine note is not right. Something is wrong with Ava Hansen's car. She's a bit off the pace, working her way down toward turn number 1. There's Bainote, there's Savage now up into third, and then Ava going wide at turn 1. And she is off course and into the tire barrier for Ava Hansen. I'm sure she's disappointed in that, but that may have been an issue, perhaps the engine braking not working as it normally would as she came through that very high-speed turn number 1 as the safety workers trying to get that car out of the tire barrier to see if she's able to continue. But it looks like it's pretty well wedged in there, and she'll have to climb out of the car so they can get a wrecker attached and get that car out of harm's way. Meanwhile, James Rogerson brings the Skillman Auto Group Mustang safety car onto the field to slow the pace down so that the recovery crew can recover Ava's car. She'll reach in to turn off the ignition. The cleanup has concluded, and we're back riding with the overall leader and the Gen 2 class leader, Edward Kennedy, right behind the safety car. The lights have clicked out, as you can see, as we're getting ready for the restart. There's the two Gen 2 cars up in front as we ride with the Gen 1 leader, Beckham Jasir, and the number 7 Champagne Racing Machine. Second now, Lazzaro Bainotti, just behind Ligier in the number 11 for the Speed Factory. We jump back 2. There's Alexander Savage just behind Bainotti. And we ride with AJ Abdullah in the Berg Racing number 21. And behind AJ is Tyler Wade. And behind Tyler is this driver, Ella White, as we ride along with Ella, as the field all stacked up behind the safety car. Edward Kennedy bringing the field around after the safety car pulls off into the pit lane. He can punch off anytime he gets past the apex of this turn. And right there he drops the hammer. Edward having a good look in his mirrors, wanted to make sure Jack Speth is not going to try to pull an overtaking maneuver as he goes right down the middle of the racetrack to keep the field behind him. Everybody stays line astern. Speth shows a nose to Edward Kennedy, but doesn't try to make that pass. We ride with AJ Abdullah just out of turn number 2. Great recovery drive for AJ after that spin on the first lap. There's Tyler Wade and Ella White as we ride with Ella. Tyler just in front as they exit the chicane, heading toward Cube 3 Architecture turn 4. Hard on the brakes for this left-hander at turn 5, and then the leaders up into the next gen turn 6. Abdullah, Savage just in front of him, then Bainotti, then the leader in the class, Gen 1 leader, Beckham Ligier. We ride with Bainotti now as Jack Speth goes wide at the exit of turn 9. Ligier thinks about trying to get alongside, but thinks better of it, falls back in single file. Bainotti using up all the curbing there as they head under the bridge. Bainotti's got a good run here. Is he going to try to make a move to take over the lead in Gen 1? As he gets a nose alongside Ligier. He made that pass on Ava Hansen earlier in the race, but not able to do it this time. Ligier able to match him on the brakes, so he has to stay line astern. As the field works its way through the shop length chicane, no change in position. There's Tyler Wade and then Ella White falling off the back just a touch. Edward Kennedy, the Gen 2 leader, in the 07 of Jack Speth, in the 7 of the Gen 1 leader, Beckham Ligier. Bainotti right on Ligier's tail, then a little gap back to Alexander Savage as he's being challenged by AJ Abdullah for the 3rd spot in class as they head into turn 7. Bending it hard down into turn number 9, then a quick flick back to the left at 10. Beckham Ligier in front of this Gen 1 class. Ligier looking for his 7th win on the season as we ride with AJ Abdullah back in 4th position. There's Ligier as we ride with him through turn number 1 into turn 2. That's Jack Speth up ahead, and Speth goes wide off into the grass. He's going to take the escape road through the classic part of turn 3, and he's going to rejoin right in front of Lazzaro Bainotti. So there's Edward Kennedy, then Ligier, then the 07 of Jack Speth, with Bainotti right on his tail as these 4 work their way up towards turn number 6. Speth should be able to pull away once he gets himself collected, but he's probably still got some dirt on those Hankook slicks after that run off into the grass. He also needs to be careful that he didn't collect any grass clippings in the radiator and potentially overheat that engine. As AJ Abdullah looking for a solution to get around the 33 of Alexander Savage. This battle for 3rd in class. Speth settles in and begins to pull away just a bit from Bainotti A.J. Abdullah has his eyes on a podium spot here. There's Kennedy, then Ligier, then Speth, the second place runner in Gen 2. And then this three-car battle, Bianotti, Savage, and Abdullah for second, third, and fourth in Gen 1. Alexander Savage a little wide there at the exit of the chicane, but he's able to catch it. The Gen 1 leader, Ligier, just disappearing from your shot there. As this battle for second, third, and fourth continues. Jack Speth, the second place Gen 2 car, interspersed in between the Gen 1 leader and this battle for second. Abdullah once again gets a good run through turn 7. A little tidier line into turn 8. And as the speed scrubs off, Ella White has come to a stop at the exit of turn 5. You can see that fast flashing of the rain light indicating that the engine has died, but she's able to get it refired, and she will continue. Good job of checking her mirrors to make sure the approaching pack is not closing down on her. No problem for Ella there at turn 5. Edward Kennedy out in front, the Gen 2 leader, then the Gen 1 leader. Ligier, second in Gen 2, Jack Speth, second in Gen 1, Lazzaro Bianotti, third in Gen 1, the 33 of Alexander Savage, fourth in Gen 1, this driver, A.J. Abdullah. As Bianotti has been able to get himself a little breathing room over these two. Savage perhaps having to be a little defensive to try to keep Abdullah behind him. But AJ looking racy here. As the Berg Racing driver out of California, chasing the Floridian, Alexander Savage. Once again, down into turn 9 and then right back to the left at turn 10. This is the best battle on the racetrack. It's the battle for third in Gen 1 as the white flag comes out. Edward Kennedy alone out front as the Gen 2 leader got up to that position early in this race and has been able to hang on to it. Jack Speth had made his way up into second overall, but then had that off-course excursion after the restart there at turn 2. Though he maintains his second place in class, he's third in the overall standings. Doesn't affect his points haul. He'll still get 18 points for the second place finish in the Gen 2 class. As we ride with Edward Kennedy, looking for his 6th win on the season. He missed one round of racing at Road America, so he's playing catch-up in the points table. As he makes it down into turn 9 and then back into 10 on this final lap. Kennedy accelerating off of turn 10 through the Ticers Live chicane, under the bridge, onto the front straightaway. The checkered flag awaits for Edward Kennedy. Win number 6 on the season as he salutes his crew and the starter to take the victory. Ligier, his 7th win on the season in Gen 1. Then Jack Speth taking second place honors in Gen 2. There's the second place runner in Gen 1, Lazzaro Bianotti. Alexander Savage holds on for third. A.J. Abdullah in the 4th position. And then a bit of a wait for Tyler Wade as he will finish in 5th spot in the Gen 1 class. Ella White, after her stall there at turn 5, will finish in the 6th spot.
somebody first place in Ligier JFC. Nice job. How does it feel here at New Jersey Motorsports Park?
It feels amazing. Well, from start to finish, we had to get through the Gen 1 cars, and the whole time I was just trying to manage my tires, manage the gap the whole race, and we ended up on top in the win, and it was pretty good. Safety car restart, he kept up with me for a little bit, and yeah, and then after that I managed and stayed consistent the whole time. So yeah, I'm happy.
Nice job.
Thank you.
How about you, Mom? You happy?
Yes, I am.
Nice. Beth, second place, Gen 2. How's it feel?
Really good. Unfortunately, we had a little off right when we were next to him. We could have stayed with them and hopefully made a move with the draft, but still super happy with that. Just trying to not lose too much in the championship. You got to finish. That's why I just tried to keep it out of the wall with that off. But besides that, all good, and we're gonna come back stronger tomorrow.
Nice job. Nice job. Beckham Jazeer. That was a fun race to watch because you had the Gen 2 cars coming after you, then you were able to make a pass on the Gen 2. How's it feel? How was your race first in class in the Ligier Gen 1 JFC class?
Yeah, it was a pretty calm race, honestly. Just really on my own that whole time. But yeah, we got a pretty good start. I think Lazaro didn't get too good of a start. Got away, and then I started extending the gap a lot. I think we got to like 8 seconds before the full course yellow. Then he was there with me for a couple laps, and then started to break away little by little, and yeah, we got the win. But yeah, can't thank the team enough for giving me such a great car. I mean, it was on rails the whole race. So yeah.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Nice job. Maya Note in Espanol, please. How was the race?
Fue una buena carrera, un poco complicada con el auto, pero feliz.
Anybody you want to thank?
What's that?
Anybody he wants to thank?
O sea, alguien a quien le quiere dar las gracias. A mi papá, a mis abuelos, a todos los que me acompañan, a todos.
Nice job. He got you.
All right.
Savage over here with Ava Hansen. Ava, it's great to see you here and way to support everybody. Sorry that you fell out there, but we'll talk to you here in a bit. But Savage, third place, hard fought, man. You had AJ right behind you. You were running with Jasir and Speth up there. How was it?
I think it was really good. It was a good race. I had a lot of pace. I was trying to maintain tires while still catch up to the group. I was trying my best throughout the race. It was a really good race. Catching Ava in the beginning and sticking with her for a little bit, slowly trying to pass. And then the caution came out, and I tried to get a good restart, which I think I did, and tried to stay ahead of AJ. And yeah, it was a good race.
Nice job, nice job. So Ava, I saw you right when you were coming under the bridge on your last lap of that race. Did you have a power issue? What happened there?
Major shifting issues. We don't know what it is yet. We haven't diagnosed it. All of a sudden, like, my car just wouldn't make RPMs. I heard from a bunch of guys down from pit lane that it sounded like I was running on 3 cylinders instead of 4. So we're praying and hoping that it's not a big engine issue because we don't have a spare. We can't really afford to carry a spare with us. So hopefully it's not drastic because, I mean, I'm hoping to race tomorrow. We're really in there in the points for this series. Ended up in the wall, unfortunately, because of that issue. Hopefully front suspension isn't messed up too much. It's just my wing so far that we found, but there's always tomorrow. So.
All right, nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Sorry, Ava.
Let's bring up our second place finisher in Gen 2, Jack Speth, ladies and gentlemen, from Kiwi Motorsport. Jack, well done on the podium once again, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to thank my team and all of them. We had a great car the whole time. Unfortunately, that little off after the restart, just kind of stepped out, got on the curb, had to keep it going from there. Besides for that, it looks great. We're going to come back tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Second place finisher, Jack Speth in Gen 2, ladies and gentlemen. His 6th podium on the season to go along with 3 wins. Noisy cars to get by. Let's bring up our Gen 3 winner, our Gen 2 winner, should we say, Edward Kennedy once again. Edward, come on up. Edward from MLT Motorsports, his 6th win on the season. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you very much. And well, the car was amazing the whole way through. I was just trying to manage my tires as I did a few laps less in quali, and just managing the gap to Jack. And it was a good race. The car felt amazing. I'd like to thank MLT.
Anybody else?
MLT, my mom, and Anthony.
Congratulations. Edward Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen, your winner once again in the Gen 2 class. As he extends his points lead, or should I say maybe narrows the points gap. Jack Speth came into this weekend with the points lead. Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry about your foot, Mrs. Kennedy. Let's bring up our third place finisher in the Gen 1 competition. His third place in a row for Alexander Savage, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Astoria. Alexander, fantastic job.
Thank you. I think it was a good race. Towards the beginning, I had a decent start. Ava had a really good start. I saw her jump up a few positions, and yeah, I was trying to stay with the group. Fell back a little bit, and then caught back up in the middle of the race. I had pretty good pace the whole race. The beginning wasn't what I would have liked, but it was good. And yeah, it was a good race. I got third, so I'm happy with it. I want to thank my dad, my sponsors, my team, and everyone that supports me. And yeah.
And you finished in front of AJ, so you narrowed the points gap a little bit.
Yeah. I'm hoping we do good in the championship this year. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our third place finisher, Alexander Savage, ladies and gentlemen. Alexander with the G-Tech Motorsports team, his third podium in a row. Let's bring up our second place finisher, Lázaro Painotti, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Lázaro. Lázaro does not speak English, so I won't bother to interview. Congratulations for his second place finish here. Is to go on with 6 podiums and 2 wins on the season. Maintains his second place position in the points championship. You good, Gavin? Let's bring up our winner as he stretches his points lead. Beckham Jasir, ladies and gentlemen, for Champagne Racing. Beckham, congratulations once again.
Yeah, so another pretty good race. I think the car was at its best from the whole year. I think it was the best now. I can't thank the team enough. The car was literally on rails. Yeah, it was a pretty calm race for me. It was just banging down laps, watching out for the tires, and yeah, overall solid race.
Yeah, you were in between the 2 Gen 2 leaders for most of the race, and end up finishing second overall, so that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, Jack was helping me with the draft a bit, but yeah, I was like, can I get the overall win? But no, that road was way too fast, but still overall, I mean, it's all right, we'll take the class win.
Anybody to thank?
Yeah, I can't thank the team enough. I mean, these guys have been at it the whole year and, continue working hard. All my sponsors, and yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beckham Jasir extending his points lead, ladies and gentlemen, from Champagne Racing. Hankook hats on all 3 of our drivers for the Gen 1 championship. As now we'll give Mount Team hats, thanks to